Hey there, my Dying to DIY fam. Welcome back, you guys. For this video, I have a really stunning, beautiful nightstand makeover to share with you guys. I have been helping my parents, well, mostly my mom, redo and give her room kind of like a new look, a new makeover for the past, I would say, year. It's probably gone on way too long, but with time, and then we're just trying to do it like very budget friendly and all that good stuff. So anyway, I found a couple of nightstands that I thought would be perfect. They're the perfect size and the shape. I just knew I could really turn them into something beautiful for her, and I think I nailed it. I think I understood the assignment. So I can't wait to share them with you guys, so let's just jump right to it. Here are the nightstands in their original state. This is how I bought them off of Facebook Marketplace. And like I had mentioned before, I just really liked the shape of these ones and just how big they were. My parents have like a king size bed in their room, so it's just a little bit bigger and taller. So I needed nightstands that would kind of fill in that space really, really well. I didn't want the nightstands to look super small compared to the bed. So I thought, again, these were perfect. Alright, so I'm just going to show you the process of one of the nightstands. I already did the first one off camera because I just wanted to have a really good game plan set, like where I was going to do the placements and how it was actually going to turn out. So once I knew everything was okay, I decided to film the second nightstand for you guys. So my first step for both of these was to take this white lightning cleaner from Dixie Belle. And I'm just following the instructions on the container just to get that process going. You take like 1 or 2 tablespoons per like 1 liter of water or whatnot, and then you're just going to dump it in there, mix it, use some nice hot water, and then I'm just going to be taking a sponge and like a rag, and I'm just going all over the nightstands just to clean off any goop, dust, grime, anything. We just want a really nice clean base to start off with, so that way our paint has a chance to just adhere really, really nicely and there's no gunk or like residue left on your project piece. This second nightstand that I was working on actually had some like candle residue, so it was kind of bumpy. Obviously, I don't want to paint over those bumps, so I just wanted to make sure that I scrubbed it really, really well and everything, the surface was nice and flat and how it was supposed to be. There are some gashes in there, which I will go and fill in with some wood filler later, but as long as it's nice and clean, just so we can start our work on there. And look how grimy that rag gets, you guys. Oh my goodness. So I did end up taking, all 3 of the drawers out because I'm cleaning the inside as well. I wanted this thing, this baby cleaned from top to bottom, inside out, all of it. All the nooks and crannies. I just wanted a nice clean start. So a good portion of this project was me actually cleaning it because I'm telling you, a huge part of these projects turning out the way that you want them is to really get all the dirt and the age off of them. You don't know how long somebody's had these or where they've been, in the garage, outside. You just don't know where. So just take your time and make sure you clean it really, really well. And as you can see, this water, it keeps getting grimier and grimier. Yum! Delicious, you guys. No, I'm just kidding. So once I was done cleaning all the crevices on there, I am just going to get a fresh bucket of water. That's what it says to do on the white lightning container. You don't want to leave the white lightning on there. I'm not really sure actually what happens, but it tells you do not leave this product on your project. And as you can see, my clean bucket of water is actually super, super grimy again. This stuff is just super powerful and it just loosens up all the old dirt and all that stuff. So you take a clean cloth just to wipe all the excess stuff that was kind of loosened up in the process. And I know it's a little hard to tell, but this baby is super squeaky clean and ready for her makeover. So to start that makeover, I'm going to take some frog tape and I'm just going to start taping off the insides of the drawers and also around the drawers. I want to line up the sides of the drawers really, really well because I'm not going to be painting the sides. Once you paint the sides, it kind of becomes a little bit harder to slide the drawers in and out. So I want to keep the drawers in their natural state. So I'm just taking that frog tape, I'm going to line it up right where the front face of the drawer kind of ends, like where you put the face to the sides, if that makes sense. Once I start, once I'm done taping it off, it should make a little bit more sense. You can see just I'm going around that front face of the drawer like so. And then, like I had said, I am going to be taping off the insides of the drawers as well, because I don't want to paint those parts either. So just to keep it nice and safe. And I've learned that the frog tape is honestly the best. There's no leaking. The paint doesn't go through the tape or anything, and it's like nice, clean, crisp lines. So I definitely recommend the frog tape for sure. After I had everything taped off, I'm just going to take some wood filler and I'm going to fill in these gaps that are on the top of the nightstand. I just didn't really like that look, and I know the middle gap is not supposed to be there, like where the wood split, so I definitely want to fill that in. I don't want any of these like crevices on the top. I also took the wood filler and I am filling in the holes of one of the drawers. I left the other two alone because I just have different ideas in mind for each of the drawers. They're going to have different knobs and like handles on each of the drawers. So I do need to make new holes on the top drawer, so that's why I filled in those holes. And I also needed to fill in a couple of spots on the sides of the nightstands as well. And then once I had given it adequate time to just dry, I'm taking a little finger sander and then also using my electric sander just to sand everything down, make sure everything is nice and smooth. My next step was to take this Zinsser Bullseye primer, and I'm just going to prime this piece, and I think I had to do it at least 3 times just to make sure I cover up everything nice and completely, and I just wanted to make sure that there was no stains coming through. On one of the sides there was a stain that would just not go away, so I had to give that one a couple of coats of the primer. But once I finally got it covered and everything was nice and primed, then it was just time to get my actual chalk paint, and then I just started painting the entire thing again using this Rust-Oleum chalk white paint. And obviously it looks the same. I know it's a little hard to tell, but it is a nice crisp bright white color. So I just ended up giving that 2 coats of that chalk paint till everything was just nice and solid, and then it was ready for the next step, which I am using this gator hide from Dixie Belle. It's just a sealant, and actually this was my first time using the gator hide and I am obsessed. Love it, love it. Will be using this from here on out. I don't know what it is, just the finish and just how well it seals everything in. I think it's perfect. It's one of the best sealers I've ever used. So I'm just going around with a blue sponge. I'm using the sponge part because it does say to use a sponge. I didn't end up buying their actual sponge. I just got a sponge from the Dollar Tree and it worked just as well in my opinion. But you're just taking the softer side and you're just going to go around and seal everything. You're just giving it one nice thin layer and you're going to give that like 2 hours to dry, and then you can move on to the next layer. But in my case, I did not move on to the next layer. I moved on to the next step, which was applying these Prima transfers from Redesign with Prima. I ordered these from Amazon and I thought they were just really, really pretty, and I knew they would fit like the theme of my parents' bedroom. So I just started by taking those transfers and cutting them apart, just kind of where I saw fit. There was no like rhyme or reason. I just wanted to be able to place these all over the nightstand. So I cut them away from another so that way I could just kind of play around with them and see where I wanted them to go on the nightstand. I used the frog tape to kind of place them down for the time being, just so I can be able to like step back and look and see like, okay, I like this there, but I need to move this and so forth. And I just kept doing that process until I was just really happy with the look and I thought it like everything was well balanced. And here is kind of just like the rough draft of where I just decided to place everything, and I thought it had a good flow and balance, and now it is ready for me to apply each of those transfers down into place. So I'm going to be taking one of the flowers, I'm removing the backing from it, and then I'm just going to place it down where I had originally kind of mapped it out. And for this one I'm starting on one of the edges because I want this to be on part of the front, and then it's also going to move to the side. So I'm going to start at the front to get that adhered. I'm using the little scraping tool that these transfers came with, and you're just going to keep scraping everything down till you can kind of see that the top layer of the transfer is ready to be lifted off. you'll start to see the colors change a little bit. So it's getting lighter because the transfer itself is actually adhering to your project. So it's ready to be taken away from that top layer. And you're just going to keep doing this whole process until that whole piece of your transfer is nice and adhered onto your project. And like I said, I was starting at the front of the transfer because it's on the front of the nightstand. And then, you know, once that part has had a chance to adhere, I'm just moving towards the back of the transfer, which is on the side of the nightstand. And I'm just going to be using that scraping tool just to get it in all like the nooks and the crannies and the crevices and stuff, just so there's no like open areas where there should be a transfer. Hopefully that makes sense. I just, you know, you're going to try to form that transfer to fit the area that you're working on. If it's nice and flat and solid, then you don't need to do as much work, obviously. But if you kind of have like some crevices or whatever, you're just going to kind of just place those along and follow along the grooves of your project piece. So here you can see for this next piece, I'm just working on like a completely flat surface. So it's so much easier. You're just doing the same process, but it's just a nice flat surface to work on. You're just taking that scraping tool, scraping everything down to adhere the transfer. And once everything is nice and adhered, you're just going to peel off that top layer. And I'm just using my finger to make sure that everything is down into place, because you can kind of see that maybe some areas are pulling up. So you're just pressing those down into place so they have, you know, a chance to stick and stay where they're supposed to be. So then I just went all the way around the nightstand until I had all of the transfers down into place. And here's just a quick look at how it was looking at this time in the process, just so you can see kind of the transfers all down into place without that like frog tape mess. And you can see it is so beautiful already, but we are not done yet. Still has a couple more steps for the makeover. So the next step, we're just going to take that gator hide again. I'm using another sponge, and this time I'm just going to seal it really well. This time I did 2 extra coats, and once I had given it enough time to kind of dry and cure, then I was able to remove the frog tape, and you can just see how nice and straight and crisp those lines are. Again, definitely recommend that frog tape. All right, yay, we have made it to the last step in this makeover, and this is what brings everything together in my opinion. So I'm just going to be adding the little knobs that I picked out for these nightstands, and in order to do that, I need to make new holes on all 3 of the drawers. So I'm just using a tape measure and measuring everything out so that way everything is nice and centered and even. So I measured out the bottom 2 drawers first, so that way I knew where to place my new hole for the top one, because as you remember in the beginning of the video, I filled in the top drawer completely. All of the old holes, Lord, that's a tongue twister. All the, you know, I think I'm just going to leave that part. All the old holes were filled in. So I needed to make a new hole, but making sure it was going to be lining up with the second and the third drawer as well. So once all of my measurements were good, I'm just taking my drill and I'm just going to be adding those holes into each of the drawers like so. And here you can see I'm just putting a new hole directly in between the older 2 holes of the second and the third drawers. I left the original holes because the drawer pulls that I picked out, they have like a 2-part. They have 2 parts to them. So the bottom part covers up the original holes completely. So I didn't think it was necessary to actually fill those in. So I just left those as is just to make a little less work for myself. So I'm just going drawer by drawer and, you know, adding each of those drawer pulls into place. And here you can see my super happy and excited face because just everything has just come together so well, and I was so happy with how it turned out. So my absolute last step was to just put the drawers back into place so I could really see everything come together, and I was even more in love. And here they both are together, you guys. I absolutely adore them. I think they are stunning, so beautiful, elegant, just so classy and high end. Like, I really feel like the video, it doesn't even do them justice. They're just so much more beautiful in person, I'm not gonna lie. And my mom she was in shock. She absolutely loves them and they fit so well in her bedroom. And these were a long time in the making. I kept telling her, I'm gonna finish them soon, I promise, I promise. And I just kept putting them on the back burner. And you know what? I was like, it's time. I gotta do these for my mom. It's for my mom. So I finally finished them, and honestly, I think they were well worth the wait. They are just so beautiful. And like I had said, my whole like idea and plan for them just really just came to life, and it looks so much better than what I had planned in my mind. And I just love when that happens. So hopefully you guys love these as much as I do. I can't wait to hear all about it, all about how you feel down below in my comment section. And hopefully I inspired you guys to take a second look at some thrift store garage sale items, you know, go to Goodwill, see what you can find. And I would definitely recommend using these Prima transfers. My words are just getting too jumbled today. But this was my first time using the transfers, and I have to say I love them. I will be using them again for sure. One thing I do want to recommend though is that you buy, if you need 2 sets, you should buy the 2 sets at the same time. I did buy 1 set a few weeks after I bought the first one, and you can just tell that they're a little bit different from one another, and I was kind of disappointed in that. But I mean, what can you do? I really didn't know that when I was, you know, buying them. I just thought same product, same company, they should look exactly the same. But it might have just been like their printing process. I don't know. The right nightstand, you can see it's a little bit darker, and the transfers are a little bit bigger than the ones that are on the left nightstand. And I know it's like a pretty minute difference, but still, it's just a little frustrating. It's like, like I wanted them to be the same as one another, but it's totally okay. They still turned out really, really beautiful. So everything worked out the way it was supposed to. Really quick, here is my parents' cute little dog, Princess. I had to put her in there. I went to my parents' house after I had dropped the nightstands off to kind of get a video for you guys of the nightstands like in their home and their little habitat. And she was just on the bed trying to say hi to me, and she's just so adorable. So that's Princess. She's my mom's 3-legged dog. Poor baby, lost her leg when she was first born, but it doesn't stop her. She's still spunky and happy as ever. Anyways, here are the nightstands in my parents' room. You can see my mom wanted like a teal blue theme, and we have purple, pinks, and like some gold in there. And her room is just kind of dark because we do have that teal wall and a lot of the purple and like darker colors. So that's why we wanted to do the nightstands in white. And then I added just some of those little accents here and there just to kind of brighten up her area, like her room, you know. And I think it all turned out really, really well, and it fits in her room perfectly. You can see she's got that like antique, vintage, shabby chic vibe going on. Totally, totally cute, and I'm just loving how everything is coming together. Our last little thing that we need for her room to be complete is a beautiful rug to just go like under her bed and right in front of the nightstands, and I feel like that will just bring everything together, and it will finally be complete. Our job will be done. But anyways, you guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Leave me some comments down below. Subscribe if you have not already. I would really love for you guys to join the Dying to DIY fam. I don't do a lot of thrift flips, but I do them here and there. And I definitely had to share this one with you guys. I do a lot of, you know, budget-friendly projects and Dollar Tree DIYs. So if that's something you're interested in, again, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all next time. Bye.